Can you buy this $675,000 house? Here's a complete breakdown on what you need to make. I own 10 investment properties in 5 different states, and I've been investing for 5 years. And when I started out, I literally knew nothing about how to buy your first investment property. And one of the things I was clueless on was how much you needed to make and what you needed to save for a property. So I had no goal of what I was trying to do. So this series is here to teach you exactly how to calculate how much you need to make and how much you need to save based on different loan options. We're gonna go from higher down payments all the way down to lower down payments. So first up, we have 25% down conventional loans. That's $168,750 for your down payment. Now you also have to pay closing costs, which are about 2 to 5% of the purchase price of a house. So 3% here we'll use for a number is $20,250. So the total amount of money you'll owe is $189,000. Again, if this is too much for you, as we go on in the video, I'll show you ways to lower your down payment. Today's interest rate's around 6.87%. Because you're putting so much down, you might get a point lower at 5.87%. So what you'll owe left on your mortgage is $506,250, and that makes your monthly mortgage payment $2,994. Taxes on this property are $11,912 a year, or $993 per month. Your insurance will be about $282. So now your total monthly payment is $4,269. But here's the cool part: because it's a rental property, you can rent out both sides for $2,500 each, and the bank will allow you to use 75% of the money that you make from the rental towards your income to help you qualify for this house. Each side can rent for $2,500. That's $5,000 total. 75% of that is $3,750. Now we'll take that and subtract that for our monthly payment from before. So that means our effective monthly payment now is only $519. Now banks want to make sure that the $519 isn't higher than 36% of your pre-tax income. That is known as your debt to income ratio. So you take 519 divided by 0.36, and that shows you need to make $1,442 per month. So in order to buy this property, you only really need to make $17,304 per year. Now let's go with 15% down. That's $101,250 for your down payment. With your closing costs, the total amount down will be $121,500. Again, we're going to keep showing you cheaper ways to buy properties, so stay tuned till the end. And you'll be paying that at a 6.37% interest because you put less down. So you'll have about $573,750 left on your mortgage. And now, because you put less than 20% down, you have to pay something known as private mortgage insurance, or PMI. It's usually about 0.75% of the loan amount every year. So you take $573,750 and multiply that by 0.0075. That's what you would have to pay for the whole year. Then you divide that by 12 to get your monthly amount of $359. Then when you add taxes and insurance, our total monthly payment is now $5,212. Now, with 15% down, you have to live in the property for a year. So you live in one side and you rent out the other side. If you rent out the other side now, you can use 75% of the $2,500 that you're going to rent out the other side for towards your income. That's $1,875. So you subtract that from the $5,212. And now your effective monthly payment is $3,337. Now that number can't be more than 36% of your pre-tax income. So that means you need to make $9,720 per month, or $111,240 per year. Now what happens if you put 10% down? That's $67,500 just for your down payment, and with closing costs, that's $87,750 total down. Your interest rate will probably go up a little bit more to 6.52% because you put less down. And so now you'll owe back to the bank $607,500. Your mortgage alone will be $3,880. Then when you add in PMI, taxes, and insurance, your total is $5,543. When you take the rental income, you subtract that, your effective monthly payment is now $3,668, which means that, again, the cap is 36% of your pre-tax income. That's $10,189 per month, or $122,268 per year. Let's get even cheaper now. 5% down. That's $33,750 for your down payment, and total with your closing costs will be about $54,000. Your interest rate will go up a little bit again to 6.87%. You'll owe back to the bank $641,250. So your mortgage payment alone now is going to be $4,211. PMI will be about $401 a month. When you add taxes and insurance to that, our total monthly payment is $5,887. When you subtract the $1,875 for rental income, that makes our effective monthly payment $4,012. That can't be more than 36% of our total pre-tax income. So that means we need to make $11,145 per month, or $133,740 per year. Those were all conventional loans. Now let's talk about 2 other loans with lower down payments. First up is FHA. FHA is 3.5% down on a house with a minimum credit score of 580. 3.5% down is $23,625 for the down payment, and with closing costs, that's $43,000. $21,875 at a 6.62% rate. So you'll owe left to the bank $651,375 because FHA loans tend to have a slightly lower interest rate. Now, instead of PMI, you pay something else that's basically the same thing, known as mortgage insurance premium. That will be about $408 per month. So your total monthly payment will be $5,852. Then when you subtract the rent, our effective monthly payment will be $3,977. Now, with FHA loans, they'll allow you to use up to 40% of your pre-tax income, so a little more lenient here. And so that means you only need to make $9,943 per month or $119,316 per year. Now, our one last option is 0% down using a VA loan, and sometimes you can use a USDA loan. The VA loan is meant for veterans or spouses of veterans, and you put 0% down. You only have to pay closing costs. So the total amount we'll need is $20,250 just for the closing costs. You'll pay about a 6.62% interest rate. So you'll owe back to the bank the full price of the house, $675,000. So your mortgage alone will be $4,320, but you don't have to pay PMI here or MIP, which is great savings. That's $400, $500 a month. And so you just need to add taxes and insurance back into this. So our monthly payment is $5,595. When you subtract the rent out, that's an effective payment of $3,720. That means you need to make $9,300 per month or $111,600 per year. If you want my help to buy your first investment property, I have two options for you. You can get my free course in my community by clicking the link below, or if you want to invest in deals with us, you can apply to invest with us by using the link below.